I never believed in love at first sight. Not really. I always thought it was something people wrote about in books or staged for movies. But then, he walked into my life, and everything I thought I knew about love, about myself, and about the world, changed. I'm Emily. And this is my story. It wasn't the kind of story you tell at family dinners. Not the kind of story people applaud. It was complicated, controversial, filled with fear and doubt. But it was also beautiful, timeless. The kind of story that teaches you that real love doesn't ask for permission. It started at a gallery opening. I was 26, fresh out of graduate school, still figuring out my place in the world. My passion had always been art, but life had me working 2 jobs just to pay rent. That night, I had borrowed a dress that wasn't mine, applied makeup I barely knew how to use, and convinced myself I belonged there among the polished crowd. And then I saw him. Tall, strong, dressed simply, but with a quiet confidence that drew me in. He wasn't trying to impress anyone, yet everyone seemed to notice him. His skin was dark and smooth, his eyes deep and searching. He was the kind of man you couldn't ignore, even if you tried. We locked eyes. Just once. Just long enough for me to feel something I had never felt before. And then I looked away. Later, as I admired a painting alone, he approached me. "You look like you see more than most," he said softly. I turned, startled. His smile was gentle, disarming. "Or maybe," he continued, "you're just trying to be seen." Something in my chest tightened. He saw me. Really saw me. We talked for hours that night. About art. About life. About dreams. And when I finally slipped away into the night, I couldn't stop smiling. Days turned into weeks. We met for coffee, long walks, late-night phone calls that stretched until dawn. His name was Michael. He was a photographer. He had a way of capturing the world, and people, in their rawest, truest form. But it wasn't just his art. It was him. The way he brushed his hand against mine when words weren't enough. The way his laugh made me feel like sunlight. The way his gaze lingered on me like I was the only masterpiece worth studying. And then came the whispers. "Why him?" my friends asked. "Don't you think it'll be hard?" my mother said cautiously. "They'll never accept it," someone else warned. "Because yes, I am white. And he is black." And to some, that was reason enough to judge, to criticize, to say our love didn't belong. But when he kissed me for the first time, slow, gentle, his lips trembling like he was asking permission even as I leaned in, all the noise faded. All that mattered was us. Our love was tender, but it was also tested. One night, after a dinner out, we were confronted. A stranger's cruel words cut through the air. I froze, ashamed, afraid. But Michael, he held my hand tighter. He looked at me with such steady strength and whispered, "Don't let them write our story. We write it." That night, in the quiet of his apartment, I cried in his arms. Not because I regretted us, but because I realized how much I needed him. How deeply I was already his. He kissed my tears. He touched my face like it was fragile glass. And when he whispered, "You're mine, Emily," it wasn't a demand. It was a promise. But the biggest test came from within. I got an offer. A career-changing job. In another country. Paris. My dream. The catch. I would have to leave him behind. We fought. We broke down. He told me to take it, that he'd never stand in my way. But I saw the pain in his eyes. The thought of losing him felt like losing the air I breathed. The night before my flight, he came to see me. He didn't beg me to stay. He didn't guilt me. He just held me, kissed me slowly, told me he loved me. And I realized, dreams mean nothing if you can't share them. I didn't board that plane. Instead, I ran back to him, breathless, scared, alive. And when he pulled me into his arms, lifting me off the ground as we both laughed and cried at once, I knew I had made the right choice. We built a life together. It wasn't always easy. There were stares. There were whispers. There were moments when the world seemed determined to break us apart. But every night, when his arms wrapped around me, when his lips brushed mine in the dark, when his laughter filled our home, I knew we had already won. And on the day he asked me to marry him, down on one knee, camera in hand, saying he wanted to capture every chapter of our forever, I said yes with tears streaming down my face. So here we are. Years later. Stronger than ever. Happier than I ever thought possible. Our love is proof that sometimes the most controversial stories are the most beautiful. That sometimes, what scares you is what saves you. Michael made me feel alive again. Seen again. Loved again. And if I've learned anything, it's this. Love doesn't care about color, or age, or what the world thinks. Real love only cares about truth. And our truth is forever. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more timeless love stories. And tell me in the comments, would you fight for love, even if the world stood against it?